morning, Marco Island. This is Good Morning Marco, the first, best, and only podcast on Marco Island. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan Sullivan.
And I'm Jordan Crayley.
And today we have a super special guest.
I'm Darrin Palumbo.
All right, we have Darrin Palumbo from the Marco Island City Council. This is really exciting. Thank you so much for being here
You have been
today.
so excited about this episode.
I have been for a while.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, so, I mean, you've actually been on our short list of guests for probably since we did our first round of episodes with all the elect city councils. So
I feel special. Thank
you. So before we get into a little bit of our business that we need to do, tell the people at home just a little bit about yourself.
Born and raised in New Jersey for the first 28 years of my life. The next 28 years are here on Marco Island. Realtor by trade, and now I find myself representing the good citizens of Marco Island on the city council.
Wonderful. So before we get into more with Darrin Palumbo on this extra special episode of Good Morning Marco, hear a little bit from our sponsor.
This episode of Good Morning Marco is brought to you by Tyler Buchan of the Golf Group. Located right here on Marco Island, they're your go-to experts for luxury living on Marco Island and beyond. Whether you're looking for a waterfront home with golf access, a condo with stunning beach views, or a private retreat down on Hideaway Beach, Tyler and his team will guide you to your home. Visit thegolfgroup.com to start your search today, or call 239-420-1099. Once again, that number is 239-420-1099. Go to thegolfgroup.com to find out more. Thank you so much to Tyler and his team for sponsoring this episode of Good Morning Marco.
Thank you so much for sponsoring this very special episode of Good Morning Marco. Again, thank you so much for being here today.
Once again, thanks for having me.
So did you move to Marco 28 years ago?
June 1st, 1998. I remember it like it was yesterday.
Okay, so is just a few months, or wait, is that the year after Marco became a city, or was that
That was
year?
shortly after it became a city.
Okay,
yes.
so I guess probably the first place to start, what do you think the biggest difference between Marco then and Marco now?
Oh my gosh, I mean, geographically we have the same amount of land,
Yeah,
but we
it
don't.
doesn't
But
seem
we
the
don't
way.
feel the same. Back then, and I had been coming to Marco from the early '90s.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knew each other.
Yeah.
The first question that bonded everybody was, "Where are you from?"
Mm-hmm.
I will tell you, up until I was working at Da Vinci's, at the original Da Vinci's restaurant. It was around the corner from where it is now. While I was waiting, my real estate license didn't transfer down. I was picking up side work, waiting for the class so I can go take my license here in Florida. And met a young woman named Elizabeth, and she was the first person I met born and raised on Marco Island.
Wow.
And she was 16 at the time, so I never met anybody else that was literally born here. Everybody else migrated from someplace. So the biggest difference is now there's a culture of you, the children that were born and raised here. This ultimately is actually your community more than ours at some point in time. Back
You
then,
heard it here first, folks.
we're just good stewards keeping place until you get here. But back then, it was really people that found the island.
Right.
Sometimes through vacationing, through family members that were here. And as I said, geographically, we haven't changed in size, but I think we had 7,000 less houses built at the time. Less, a few
7,000
condominiums,
less?
7,000 home sites less, I believe. There were vacant lots. And don't quote me, you'd have to look it up.
Right.
But
Well, I mean, just think
Still
about
just
it.
like a huge difference, yeah.
There's been a total of 4,000 people, well, not a total, an estimate of about 4,000 people that moved here since COVID. So, I mean, that's
So
also
here's a couple of
really-
examples. How about this? The Esplanade was not standing.
Right.
Where the Crystal Shores, the Marco Island, the Marriott timeshares, it was the Radisson.
Yeah.
Much smaller building. Actually, when they
I remember the
when they
Radisson.
tore it down, they wouldn't let them implode it. It had to come down floor by floor, I remember.
Really?
The Marriott was the Marriott at the time. Previously, it was the Mackel Brothers hotel called the Polynesian. But the Voyager Hotel is the little low-rises, the 2 stories, were still standing now where the spa. Madeira wasn't there.
Yeah.
There's just so many things that were different, so many changes. Progressive Auto wasn't standing.
Wow.
I just
That feels like an old
If I
building.
really think deep, I could come up with so many other changes.
And how many 7-Elevens there were on the island at that time as well.
Just prior to my time, 7-Eleven was on the corner of San Marco and Barfield,
Right
where
by
the Marathon gas
Precious,
station,
right? Yeah.
where
As
the
well.
Marathon gas station was. That was
Yeah.
where the original. How about this? There was one, besides the Goodland Bridge, there was only one Jolly Bridge.
Yeah.
Now there's another
Yeah.
bridge standing.
I remember when they put up the second bridge.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, if I really thought there was so many changes.
Yeah.
We really grew into our own as a community, and because we were, I hate to say a failed business development, but a challenged one that
Yeah.
Deltona had to face due to environmental and financial challenges. One of the unnecessary benefits was it kept Marco quaint and charming, and we've lost a little bit of it. We struggle to keep that, but there's your biggest differences.
Yeah.
I can go on and on, but I want to bore you with all the details.
You're totally fine. So, when did you first start getting involved in the local government? Is council first time, or what were you doing? When's the first time that you're like, I want to get involved?
I started paying attention in South Plainfield, New Jersey, where I went to high school, and just keeping a bird's eye view of it.
Right.
I was younger. There was no intention to run for any type of office. I did start the process of joining the Big Brothers Big Sisters
Okay.
in New Jersey. I got as far as fingerprints and all the vetting of the process. And almost on a whim, we decided to move to Marco, where I had family. I had a sister and a brother-in-law here. But to get here was a very quick decision, so I never was able to fulfill my obligation for Big Brothers Big Sisters in New
Right.
Jersey. I actually fulfilled it here.
Okay.
So that wouldn't be governmental service. That was my first maybe
Community
really dive into
involvement.
community
Yeah.
service. And my little brother Josh, we were matched in 2000. Josh is now 34 years old, and he is every bit as much of my family as my children.
Yeah.
We've aged out of the Big Brothers Big Sisters, but for a time we were the longest match in all of Collier County.
Really? That's cool.
Gosh, I was matched up with Josh before I had kids.
Huh.
So that was my first experience into really social service, and I didn't do it for that reason, but kind of community service.
Right.
What I found out about that service is I got back far more than I've ever given. But through Josh, he was a Boy Scout, and then I joined the Boy Scouts as an assistant scoutmaster.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about it, so they made me in charge of football, flag football, running
that
around with the
down
kids.
here?
That was here. I was.
Was that troop 2, 3, 4?
Oh gosh, I think it was 325. A gentleman named Jim McGarity, and the
Okay.
reason I segued into this, Jim McGarity ran it. Jim McGarity was former military, who went
Were
to.
the scout meetings held in the Wesley United Methodist Church Fellowship Hall?
We were off island in Naples on St. Andrews Boulevard.
Okay.
And I fit the church, but Route 41 and St. Andrews right there.
Okay.
But Mr. McGarity, he was retired military. I think at 40 years old when he retired out, he went to law school, became a public defender, was running a scout troop down here. I met him, and he ultimately became a judge for a while here in Collier County. And that is when I started taking more of an interest into politics here in Collier County. Sitting around the campfires while the kids were running around, and we were talking about things in Collier and Marco. So that was kind of my opening conversation. But it wasn't until 2005 that I was appointed to, as a Councilor John Asseri, that appointed me to the Marco Island Waterways Advisory Committee.
Okay.
And my introduction to that was something called the Liveaboard Boater and Mooring Field Fight,
Okay.
which very much paralleled our short-term rental ordinance fight. And that was kind of my start.
Okay. So what was the when you first did the counselor come up and ask you if you wanted to be on a committee, or did you like pursue that and seek that out, or what was the?
I'll try to give you the short version.
Okay.
Bill Moss, our then town manager, not Bill Morris, the attorney, a different Bill Moss,
Right.
great town manager. He had sent out a survey. Again, I'm a realtor by trade. Now I find myself also part owner of Sweet Annie's Ice Cream Parlor. Not to make this an advertisement.
You can if you want.
No, not at all, not at all. But then I was just straight realtor, and I had worked in the restaurants. I said when I was waiting for my license, and I actually stayed there for a while because the money was good. And
Yeah.
you worked at night, and real estate was done during the day. But our town manager, he sent out a survey to all the real estate agents, to the Marco Island Board of Realty. And I forget the questions were, how do you feel about fishing off of somebody's vacant lot? How do you feel about fishing off the Winterberry Bridge and then the main Jolly Bridge? And I sent back a detailed answer. Well, it's somebody's piece of land. I was always taught you don't trespass on that. Why were they even allowed there? Yeah, I was right to the point. I'm sometimes to my detriment. I'm a forward to the point person. Yeah. And he responded back with great answers and thank you. And a gentleman, he had there was this liveaboard boater and mooring field fight happening, starting up on Marco Island. And a gentleman named Dennis Morset, he has lived on the tip of Orange Court, and he was active in this, saying, we did to tread very lightly on the boaters living in our waterways. He had seen this, probably a public records request, seen my answer, said, wow, you're the only guy that the town manager got back to and answered in great detail, tried to get together for a cup of coffee. That led to me taking a bit of a political stance on this item at the time, and that's how I ended up getting appointed to the Waterways.
Got it.
Through one of the councilors that was, I guess I should say, impressed maybe, or just liked that I was taking an active role in our political challenges of the time.
Yeah. Do you think that role inspired how you feel about the recent Waterways? What is that called? Seahawk? What was that?
Oh, the Seahawk program.
The Seahawk program.
Not so much that. The role really... So once I said, my very first meeting as a city councilor was the second reading of the Marco Island short-term rental ordinance. Mm-hmm. Now, when you talk the second reading, I wasn't there for the first or anything before. I was thrown right into the final vote. So when you talk about baptism by fire, it doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah.
Or maybe worse than that. But I had said in that meeting, they make too much noise. They don't stimulate our economy. They put too many people in a place that don't belong. I went through this little description. I said, what am I talking about? And everybody thought the short-term rentals. They're too loud. I go, guys, I'm not. I'm talking about this liveaboard boater challenge and fight back in 2005. And it was the same fight. We don't want them in our waterways. They don't stimulate the economy. They're really just taking their dinghy to the shore, going to Publix, buying, living on their boat. They make noise. It travels across the water. And there was a councilor, Glenn Tucker. By the way, our City Hall building is named after him. And he was the only one out of 6 councilors that was saying, these people have rights.
Yeah.
They have national rights. They have navigable boater rights. And 5 other councilors were pretty much following the lead of the advisory committee that I was on. And that committee, the fight was really fought on the advisory level.
Yeah.
We crafted the ordinance. We pushed it through. And when I tell you, the old Mackle Park building, we had them out the door into the Airnasium, into the basketball courts. We couldn't fit them in. People that lived inland were coming. We don't want them here. So, Jordan, to answer your question, I was on the wrong side of that fight. I was the xenophobic, you can't come to our community. And I didn't realize I was trampling on somebody. It wasn't property rights, but waterway rights, navigable rights. I forget what the actual term was back then, but they had a right to be here. We had a right to try to invite them on our terms.
Right.
And on my very first meeting, I had said to my co-councilors, I cannot... Now, when I joined council, there were 6 returning members.
Yeah.
And I said this at one of the meetings with, 20 years of city council experience. 84% of my council was, veterans, and I was the only one, 16% rookie. So I said, guys and girls, the only thing I could really give you advice on is I lived this once before. A community overreacting and trying to say you can't come, even though there was laws that protected people that allowed them to come.
Yeah.
So it wasn't the Seahawk or the dredging, although we did on Waterways Advisory, mostly what we did was measure the canals, go out and patrol atons and buoys and markers. Mm-hmm. And that's what I try to encourage to happen now. Our job wasn't water quality readings. It wasn't to solve those larger issues. I can relate a bit to measuring canals and depth and the towing in of the seawalls and all, but really my experience truly was relating to the short-term rental ordinance versus the liveaboard boater and mooring field ordinance, and they were almost identical.
Huh. That's I never heard that before. I didn't know about the liveaboard.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Boat ordinance. Shows how much I was involved back in, what would you say, 2005?
How it resolved itself was the Waterways Advisory Committee, the WAC as we called it, we fabricated the ordinance. We passed the ordinance up to council. I don't remember them all. Glenn Tucker, Terry DeSciullo, John Asseri, I think Vicky Kelber might have been there, and I'm missing a few names. It's been a while. And they pretty much took what we sent up and approved it, except for Glenn Tucker saying, we are trampling over the rights of this minority, the smaller group. And what ended up happening was we passed it. It went too far. Somebody got purposely arrested to challenge it. And ultimately, I can't remember, 2000. You'd have to look it up. I mean, at this point, I'm watching politics from a little bit of a bird's eye.
Right.
So maybe 2012, 13, 14, it was overturned.
Okay.
But it was a very good experience in how do you invite people on your terms who you cannot stop from coming, who you have no legal right to stop from coming. And at the end of that, I said I was wrong. I was on the wrong side of a fight. We should have tried to find compromise and tried to find ways to invite people on our terms, but we couldn't stop them from coming. And we were trying to write an ordinance that stopped them from coming. When I voted against the short-term rental ordinance, I wasn't against an ordinance, and I campaigned for one.
Right.
I just couldn't support that version because I
ordinance,
thought it was trying to stop people from coming, not inviting them on our terms.
Right.
But
Which, I mean,
we all know
that's-
how that.
Yeah, that's kind of been our. I don't want to speak for both of us, but I feel like you agree with me on it because we had a conversation on our Jolly Bridge episode about a bridge toll.
I was literally just about to relate it to this.
Yeah, because it feels like there's two camps for why you would want a bridge toll. Either A, as a money generation tool,
It's an alternative source of funding, right?
I mean, I think the county owns the bridge anyway, so I don't know what the legality of us being able to do that would be. Anyway, that doesn't matter. Part two, it feels like the same thing as the short-term rental ordinance and the live aboard ordinance, where it's like trying to deter people from coming. Because if you talk to people around here, in fact, I had a great meeting with someone that I don't necessarily agree with on a lot. And we're going to have him on the podcast. It's going to be very fun. I won't mention him by name here, but we were talking about the toll, and he was very pro toll. And I'm talking, it's like, well, what do you... It's like, I think that it deters people from coming to the island. He's like, good! I'm like, okay.
Ryan, there's really two trains of thought there, right?
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, in the hierarchy, who do I consider my ultimate boss? That's the registered voter taxpayer. Right. That's in the 15,500 registered voters. In the hierarchy of things are truly my first level boss. Right. And I think just last week was Boss's Day, so I mean, thank God I didn't have to take them all out to lunch. That would have been a little bit. But below that, then you have maybe homeowners who are seasonal, snowbirds. They own property, right? They also have a say, so they contribute to our economy. They actually pay the bulk of the property taxes, more than the homesteaded registered voter usually. And then you have guests, visitors, tourists, travelers, whatever you want to call them.
I like the tone of which you said tourist. I felt that coming because when a couple of our conversations we've had right here, just like, well, we don't necessarily have to say tourist. Visitor is a great word, but
vacation rentals, short-term rentals, tomato. Yeah. But everybody has rights.
Right.
Some have property rights. Some have visitation rights. Some owners and renters have quiet enjoyment rights. The boaters that could live in our waterways have rights. Right. So you have to take a look at that. But I understand the philosophy of, I moved here, I'm a full-time resident, it's my territory, I've staked my claim, I have more say-so than you do. Yeah. And I understand the philosophy. But here's the challenge. Right? So a toll at the bridge. Toll at the bridge could generate money. I don't know all the true ins and outs. Councilor Goller was talking about that, and she was going to spearhead that, and it abruptly got ended when she honestly said at one of our meetings, we can't do what we wanted to do and work out. I'm going to drop this. But now you talk about two camps. All through the appointing of another councilor, the camps were viewed to be, at the time, Councilor Goller, right? you had Councilor Chair Brecknitz at the time, and Councilor Gray, and it was myself, Councilor Henry, and Councilor Schwan. Yet when we talked about that toll, for no other reason than honestly, I was the only councilor that said to Councilor Goller, good for you for attempting to bring up a conversation for an alternative source of funding. I don't really think I was going to go that way. It wasn't the direction I wanted to go. But I appreciate you bringing up the conversation, because I'm going to bring up a conversation about paid parking and scan codes. Use that as an example. The bridge for some is a money-generating item, but for some it's an obstacle to come.
Yeah.
If we do paid parking and scan codes, they're already here. We're just giving them a method to park and come to the beach.
Right.
And that's where those two philosophies start getting battled.
I actually think
Right?
that's a great
But
idea.
let me
They
ask
do
you,
it
the
in
both
Fort
of you, a
Myers.
question.
Anyway.
Have either of you ever vacationed in your life off of Marco Island?
Yes.
Have
In
you
fact,
ever
I'm
been
going
to a
on my
beach?
first vacation in 3 years.
Okay, where are you going?
Going to Chicago.
Okay.
Leaving on Tuesday.
Okay, have you ever been to a beach that was not Marco Island's beach?
Miami Beach.
I have.
Okay. All right. Have you ever went out to a restaurant not located in Marco Island?
Yes.
So you have burdened other communities with your presence.
Of course.
Or
Yeah.
you have benefited other communities with your presence because you've bestowed upon them your hard-earned cash, your capital. Good citizens are getting frustrated that we're reaching build out.
Right.
They were able to experience the level of Marco that I did. When I talk about those old stories, Nacho Mamas, and I know the owners love them.
Sweet
I
kiosk,
love
yeah.
Nacho Mamas. It was a beach cabana where the elevator shaft was.
Yeah.
In the old Mission Plaza, as it was called then, now the
And
Marco Walk.
my parents owned the 1 hour photo in
Okay,
that plaza
there-
at the time.
when we actually had photo.
Yeah.
You know, when we had
Yeah.
film. We all
last
grew, we all fell in love with that version. And I actually said at a council meeting, I would happily go back to that version of Marco Island. But I realized a few things have to happen. I would have to give up 3/4 of my property value
Yeah.
and 3/4 of my income to go back to that. I loved it, but I might have also loved it because I was 28 years old. Life was a little bit different. So we all have, if you've been here long enough, you have this emotional attachment to what the island used to be. What I can't do as a counselor is now we have people coming that have lived here 2, 3, and 4 years, and somehow they feel an attachment to what the island used to be 20 years ago. And I cannot deliver to you a version of
Yeah.
something you've never experienced. So I find myself treading very lightly when I say, so-and-so, you're telling me a story. We need to keep people from coming to this island. We're getting overrun. When did you come here? I moved here 4 years ago.
It's like, well, do you consider yourself part of the problem then?
If you want me to be
if
truthful,
you even think it's a problem. Yeah.
exactly. If you feel the people coming now are ruining it for you, I've been here since 1998. Would you like me to tell you you're ruining it for me? And we should have closed the bridge the day after I came.
Yeah.
And the only real defendable person besides maybe God is the Calusa Indians could say you've
Yeah.
ruined it for all of us.
Yeah.
So, but I understand. I didn't understand it for the first couple years. I spent a few years really digging my heels in and passionately fighting on council about items. You don't think other people should come? The word is NIMBY.
Yes,
not in
not
my
in my
backyard.
backyards.
You're
Yeah.
NIMBY and
NIMBY.
you're a
Never heard
xenophobe.
that phrase
No.
before.
Yeah.
NIMBY.
Yeah. NIMBY. It's
It's actually in the dictionary now.
is it?
Really?
Not in my backyard. But I spent those first couple years going to battle against those folks because we were divided.
Right.
I was the anti-short-term rental guy. I was the businessman, let everybody come in, which wasn't the truth. And I never get any credit for campaigning and actually trying to motion for the Collier County short-term rental ordinance, just not the one we had. But I came across a little bit rougher, a little bit more aggressive.
Right.
So I was. I think they called us the Gang of Four or the Gang
Yes,
of Three.
the gang of four. You, Rich, Becky, and Jared.
It
I
started
remember,
off with
yeah.
Councilor Grafoni, Chair Grafoni, Councilor Irwin, and we were the Gang of Three. And then Councilor Blana kind of came with us on a
Yeah.
couple items, and then we were the Gang of Four.
I remember those. And that was when I first downloaded Nextdoor. And every other post was about the gang of four. So
I mean, to tie it into your whole question, what I really learned is it's not really people that want to exclude people from coming. We really want to invite people on our terms. That's really what's trying to be said. There are a few people that do want to close that bridge to nobody else.
Right.
And there are a few people that want to overflow it and make as much money as they can. And most people in the middle realize, I bought here, I built here, I can't stop somebody. But we could try to ask you to come on our terms. Honor our community, love it, keep it clean.
Of course.
Try to be a little quiet at night. Even though we have a noise ordinance that says you could be loud till 10 o'clock, try to be a little respectful a little bit before that time. Try to understand the lay of the land. We're a laid-back community.
Yeah.
We're a relaxed community. There's not a whole lot
We're
to
on
do.
Allentown.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
So, but here's the
good that we're sharing
here's the
insight.
real lesson. Here's what the lesson of the toll at the bridge is, in my opinion.
Right.
We fight over trolleys. We fight over tolls at the bridge. We fight over short-term rentals. We fight over noise ordinances. What we really should be bonding or trying to come together as a community is, and I think I said this at a meeting or two back, we should be fighting over the values over our bridge that we don't respect or we don't want here.
Yes,
and we
you,
should be
you said that at the meeting I was at.
trying to bond, say what's really important. We do live in a bubble. It's as if God took a flashlight and shined it on Marco Island and said, this is where, in my opinion, heaven's going to meet earth.
Yeah.
And it's going to take all we can to just defend this little piece of dirt on planet Earth from the things we don't want to see coming from over the bridge. And just different values, not bad values, but different political values, different social and cultural values. And if we come together and try to defend that, that's about the best we could do.
Right. And I think you had said that in response to the piece of legislation that our representative in the state,
Representative Ben
legislature,
Roach,
the bill that she was trying to bring forward about in case something like what just happened
the
for
stalemate
the first time
appointing
ever,
a
the
council,
stalemate,
yes.
that after several rounds of either it being put to a vote, if there's 4 people out, it goes to the governor. And that was about, it's like, well, the current governor is not always going to be the governor. It's like, what if it's somebody else? And I tend to agree.
Here's what I've learned in my time, and I've learned a lot about myself. I treat our meetings as a meeting. Sometimes you have to realize they do happen in public.
Yeah.
And things have to be cushioned a bit. It's taken me a little time to mature as a counselor and as a human being.
Yeah.
But here's what I've learned. It's as humans, we've done incredible things. You know, we put people on the moon in space. We could transplant organs. We really are. I remember reading maybe more changes happened in the last 100 years of mankind than the entire existence.
Yeah.
But gosh, sometimes, and myself included, common sense, where has it gone?
Yeah.
Sometimes we're emotional. We dig our heels in and battle over things that are just, they're not worth fighting over. And you, the public, have to watch it happen on a council level.
Yeah.
And we don't realize it's happening in real time. Because it's our only time together, due to Sunshine Law, our only time together is right up there in that dais.
Yeah.
So we are really treating it like a meeting. It's their only time to speak, to joke, to just spitball ideas, to throw crazy things out there. And you watch it play out. That's the reason I try not to watch the meetings. I've lived them. I don't want to rewatch them at times. But really our best chance at defending Marco and leaving a true legacy for you and the children that are coming after you. I think I mentioned one day, and I say a lot of things on those meetings. I have a deed. It says that I own 275 Shadow Ridge Court. Do I really own it? Do I really own God's earth? I mean, at some point, it goes to my kids and who knows down the road where that piece of dirt, who's going to own it or not own it, or what is even going to be? Will it be a house? We're all just here for a short period of time, trying to safeguard and maybe just be good stewards of what we were given.
You know, what you just said reminds me so much of a quote that it is the first time I'm actually able to shoehorn it in a conversation, and it works. It's a quote from Dwight L. Moody, who started the Moody Bible Institute. It's, I don't fear failure. I fear to succeed at something that doesn't matter. A lot of times we end up spinning our wheels over, issues like the trolley, like short-term rentals, like the toll. When, again, it is about... This is something that I actually said on Nextdoor after my my most recent controversy on a local level. I have a very deep respect for everyone that holds the office of city council. I have a deep respect for all 7 of you, and I have a deep respect for everyone that's come before. And the thing is, I know for a fact that all 7 people up there care so deeply about this island. And I mean, I don't think that anyone could even get on city council without truly actually caring about this place. It's
hopefully,
we all, yeah, I know. we all care about this place in different ways, though.
True.
And it's coming together and sometimes being able to step back and go, hey, this person wants what's best for this place, and I can agree with them on that. And I mean, sometimes when I would say that I don't know if in the past like 2-3 months or so it's been the same, but especially when this session of the city council has started, it seemed more disunified than ever. And I think the more that we can move in that direction of unity is the better.
You know, I think we're getting there.
Mm-hmm.
If you watch after the stalemate over the councilor,
Right.
You know, and I got made fun of. I said, take 2 great names and flip a coin.
Mm-hmm.
And my answer was, you know, at the time I had 2 really good candidates in mind.
Yeah.
One from each side of what was perceived, these 2 different camps, right? And I said, everybody wins, just 3 of us will win a little bit more.
Yeah.
But nobody loses. And that's, I get asked this all the time. They either say Darrin or they say Councilor Palumbo. You seem to have a different temperament lately on council. And I get asked, are you setting yourself up for re-election? And the true answer is, I don't know if I'd want to do this again.
Right.
I don't know if I could give the community the amount of time. I'll see how this next year goes. Also, part of it is I am just figuring this job out. There's some aspects 3 years in, I'm just now, it's starting to get crystal clear.
Mm-hmm.
So I go, well, geez, after 4 years of figuring it out, maybe I don't want to waste the 4 years. I should run again and use that experience. But here's the answer. The truth of the matter is, I've spent the first 2 years of my time on the dais on council. Really, I was fighting to win.
Right.
I was fighting to win my point. I was fighting to win the day, to honor my 20, 30, 40, 50 most passionate constituents. I was going to pat me on the back and what I really realized is I wasn't winning anything.
Yeah.
And then when I figured it out and started trying to fight, maybe so that we all don't lose,
Yeah.
it seemed to be at least you had a chance to get things done.
Yeah.
And also, I'll be really honest, the few meetings I watch every now and then, I didn't like to look at myself sometimes. I didn't like the things that came out of my mouth and the way they were delivered. I didn't feel like I was honoring the position or the seat. Now, I'm a naturally feisty, aggressive guy from Jersey, a little Italian, you know. We had to stand up and fight for our rights. We were picked on the little guys. So some of that's ingrained in me, but I didn't like the version of myself I was bringing. And then and what naturally evolved is I think maybe this light bulb has went off in all the counselors' minds, and thank God my co-counselors are learning it quicker than I did. Where can we align on things? What are our true values? Most of the big items you see us, we usually all align on them.
Yeah.
Mostly property rights, different things, city, the budget, those things. You see us coming together. It's those controversial ones that but they seem to set the tone and dictate the day.
Yeah.
And here's a perfect example. Consent agenda. Both of you watch the meetings, right? You see when we vote for something on consent agenda, nobody has a comment on the consent agenda until one counselor takes something off of it. I'd like to talk about whatever it is. The 6 other counselors that said no word about removing it wanted to make not one comment about it. When it comes up later in the meeting, I pull this off for conversation. All of a sudden, all 7 counselors now want to weigh in on it.
Right.
It's just human nature.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes a little time to learn that human nature aspect. So that's how all this ties in. I don't know how you see it playing out. All I know is for my remainder of time on the dais, I'm just trying to bring a better version of myself.
Yeah.
I think the citizens deserve it.
I wish that some of the politicians in a national office would speak a little bit more like that sometimes, because I really respect the willingness to go. It's like, well, just because I was this one way at one point doesn't mean I'm always going to be like that. Whereas, because I mean, what I notice, some people, I mean, people get called flip-flop for changing their position. And changing your position doesn't necessarily mean you're a flip-flop. It means that you have learned more. It's like, should we respect when people change their opinions or change how they're operating themselves?
It should be the goal, shouldn't it?
Yeah. It actually reminds me when I'm going to get the names completely wrong on this, but it was 2 senators who one was a Democrat, one was a Republican. I'm not saying names because I'm going to get them wrong. Maybe I'll put them down here if I research this properly after the end. One of them went on to hold a very significant office, but the Democrat senator, it was his first time in. He was a junior senator, and the other senator was he'd been in there for years.
Sure.
And one of the first things that the Democratic senator did was he researched about the Republican, and he went to him and said, "Hey, I've just found we agree on this. Do you want to work together and get this piece of legislation through? Let's work on this. Maybe we can do something bipartisan." And then all the the PR people went in. It's like, "No, you can't do that. You can't do that." But it's still, I think that is something that is beautiful. I think that's what's one thing that's great about us being a nonpartisan council, where we don't have to elect a member of a specific party.
True.
It's a lot
well, in all
easier
honesty,
to work together.
pretty much everybody's a Republican that ran for
the most part. Yeah.
For the most part, we
Yeah.
have Deb Henry, who is a Democrat, but I don't care about the titles. I care about working with somebody.
I was
And
on
I
the phone with
for her. I voted
yeah.
for her. I appointed her to the Audit Advisory Committee prior to being council. All I cared about is the values you have and what value you could bring to Marco Island.
Yeah, I was on the phone with her a few weeks ago, and she was telling me, it's like the amount of people that it blessed me so much. The amount of people that told me, it's like, you were my first time ever voting for a Democrat, because that's very Marco.
Guys, look at it this way. My daughter Jenna, who I believe both of you know, because you went to high school with her.
Yeah.
When she was home for from college for the summer, her and my wife started taking to watching the meetings. Mm-hmm. They were still a little tumultuous back then.
Yeah.
And I came home and they would tell me some things. They would make some comments. They would laugh a little. They would joke a little. They would frown a little. But my daughter had said something. I don't remember the exact words, but I said, we're all going to be friends at some point on the dais. All the counselors. And she said, Dad, are you out of your mind? She said to me, when you speak, do you see the way some of them look at you?
Oh, yeah.
Now, there was a couple of counselors. I had maybe not my best moment, but I campaigned against them right there from the dais, right? I always jokingly say I checked with the city attorney, made sure it was legal.
Yeah.
But it might not have been a great choice to unite the people you might work with. But the point I said is, I said, Jenna, we're going to get along and we're going to become friends. And I'll tell you why. We are the only 7 people that knows what it feels like to sit up there. And that is a glue that bonds you. And they don't know it yet because they're newer. They have more life experience. They have more governmental business, whatever the experience, but they don't have Marco Island City Council experience.
Yeah.
We're going to bond. Trust me, we are. And we're going to start finding ways to get along and to work together.
Yeah.
But I have to ask you one question, if I could.
Of course.
Because we've had a great interview so far. How about getting this young lady involved? Does she get a question?
Yeah.
Miss Jordan, do you get a question? I feel like we're maybe being rude.
No, I really enjoy listening. I'm definitely a listener. A lot of the time, if I do have a question, it tends to be a very short, powerful one.
Yes. And I'll look over whenever it's like.
Well, when you have one, I'm ready for you.
Do you have anything now? Or
I just have like a comment. I have known you for a little bit, but in purely just this interview, I really admire your visions for Marco and your want for unity. I do think that it is an important thing that Marco Island kind of learns to compromise.
Yeah.
So for everybody to get together, we mentioned compromise for the trolley video, didn't we?
Yeah.
We were like,
that was
compromise.
actually our main thing that we came away
But-
with. Was it just like, well, maybe we could do this in a slightly different way. And then we ended up actually talking about it. It's like, okay, I guess never mind. But
I would say, I guess, kind of going back when you were talking about the only time you guys have to really meet is at the city council meetings. Do you ever feel like in order to thoroughly get something done, you should have more time to meet?
So my very
What's your view of sunshine law?
I believe it was my very first meeting, December 5th, 2022. And after you got past the short-term rental conversation, we started getting to the business of the city. So I had campaigned, and we did the 10 days of early voting at Mackle Park. And I'll be honest, I stationed myself right next to Councilor Brecknitz and Councilor Foley. Yeah. Because I thoroughly believed they were absolutely going to win their seats back for the election. And I thought I was fighting it out for the third seat against two really wonderful candidates. A girl named Nanette Rivera, who was on the planning board and does a lot of good, a lot of charitable things in the community, and a girl named Christine Dowell, who has a lot of activity. She says the citizens are better, Marco. And all I was trying to do was just get one more vote than them, to be honest.
Yeah.
I was truthful. But what I learned from talking to poor Chair Brecknitz, I said, can I ask you a few questions? And he had said to me, I would advise you use this time to ask me anything you want, and any of the current counselors, because if you win, if you're successful and you win, sunshine law is mostly going to prohibit us from speaking.
Yeah.
And there's things we can't talk about where we try to stay out of each other's way and not just really tread lightly on it. Poor Chair Brecknitz. I literally got a piece of paper out and asked him 10 days worth of questions.
That is great.
And I told this story at one of our meetings, and Councilor Foley, he was campaigning up on the street on Heathwood, carrying a big sign, and he was getting exercise in steps.
Yeah.
So Eric was like sitting next to me, and I have the notes till this day as to the answers he gave me. And it was one of the most valuable conversations I ever could have had, to be able to ask anything about the Larry Honig spreadsheet, past counselors, votes, different things. It was invaluable. I don't think he realized the level of questions and the amount of them I would have asked.
Yeah.
But it was...
I wish I would have done that when Linda Schreisinger came up to me with the exact same conversation before I joined Beautification. When it was more of a talking point of, it's like, I might be on Beautification. I got a call. It's like, let's talk before we can't. So
it does really. So my very first meeting, we get past the rental ordinance, and Councilor Rich Blana says, we need to have more time together. I believe we need to spend more time. These meetings are not enough. And I have to understand, I'm a forward person, but I am sitting on a council with 6 returning members, and I'm the brand new guy.
Yeah.
And to a degree, I'm intimidated. They have experience, and on that very first meeting, before this conversation came up about, I don't remember the order of things, but I think there was something else. And I asked, where do you find this information? And Councilor Blana said, Councilor Palumbo, what are you talking about? There's a whole agenda item attached to it on our agenda, and it's 35 pages. And I literally said, excuse me, sorry, rookie error. I didn't see it. I spent all of my time on the rental ordinance and missed this portion of it. It will never happen again.
Yeah.
And it was my lesson learned to go through every single item of an agenda. But later on in that meeting, after Councilor, and Rich is a great friend now. I mean, he's done so much good for this community. But he had said, we don't spend enough time together. I motion we change our meetings to twice a month. And I said, I'll second that motion. I spoke up. Because every councilor I spoke to said we don't have enough time together.
Yeah.
Prior to being elected, they were able to tell me these things. And how the challenge of sunshine law, of which our higher levels of politics don't have to adhere to it. So it is, what's the old saying? The road to hell is paved with good intentions. Is that the saying?
Yeah.
It has great intentions, but it really does constrict our ability to get things done.
Yeah.
And you have to watch sometimes 5-hour meetings that sometimes are painful to watch, but we're living it. It's the only time we could actually speak and just bounce ideas around and get our opinions in.
Yeah.
It is what it is. It's the way we function, and nothing you can do about it.
Yeah. I feel like that's something that I feel is valuable about this is no one has to someone viewing right now could be one of your fellow council members. Of course, I don't know if legally they'd be allowed to actually comment on the video. Because
if it's a future agenda item, few things we were kind of told. Once one councilor comments, make it a good practice not to be the second.
Yes, not to reply. I even stay away from liking my fellow beautification members' comments and stuff like that.
Could
or
be
else I would.
construed as I'm with you on this item.
Especially now after my controversy with liking other comments. So, but I forget exactly what I was trying to get at there. I feel like this is valuable because not just with interviewing you or the other city councilors that we've interviewed prior. This is a conversation that we have a third person sitting right here. And the fourth person, you know what I mean. I'm considering us as one unit at the moment. We have another member with us right now, and that's the audience. And we have the fourth wall there, and people don't necessarily always get time to have not just conversations with you or anyone else that we've interviewed, or even learning about the skunk ape, or learning about roofing, learning about skincare.
In New Jersey, it's the Jersey Devil. Just so you know.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm very well versed. But this is something that I think is invaluable, especially when this is a setting much unlike council, because this is whatever we want to talk about, we can talk about. And not everyone gets to see that all the time. I think that was my main point.
We lose a lot of just the time to communicate to what I call, my daughter hates when I use old sayings, but shoot the breeze, spitball, pontificate, just going back and forth. You learn a lot about each other in general conversation and just over a cup of coffee. Yeah. So and you can keep this or edit this, but Jordan, let me ask you, here's a big one. What's the meaning of life to you? If I asked you really quickly, what's the meaning of life? Did you have a quick answer?
The memories you make.
Bam, wow. To me, without love and faith and fellowship and a spirit or whatever the Creator gave us, if not, we're just energy consuming energy. That's all we are. What's our purpose? The memories, love, fellowship, time together. At least that's as much as I could figure out. Yeah. Once you start figuring out, and I don't want to get too deep on this, but what is our purpose on council? What are we supposed to do? Fight over and bicker over little stalemates and battles, or try to leave the city better than we found it? Yeah. I think we're supposed to try to leave it better than we found it. And I didn't always learn that on day one. It takes a little bit of age, a little bit of wisdom, a little bit of self-loathing, a little bit of watching yourself on camera and saying, did I really say that? Yeah. A few apologies to the public, and to your co-counselors. But once you figure it out, Sunshine Law takes a bit of that away. We don't have time to just have those conversations. Hey, counselors, what's the meaning of life to you? It doesn't really work well. It doesn't fit very well in a city council conversation where time is limited. But
it'd be like they've officially lost their mind for asking this question.
I'll maybe I'll talk to the
hope I didn't go too far on that.
No. We've talked about some
I just tied Sunshine Law into the meaning of life, but it takes all of that personal time away. Where is the most valuable time to really get to learn who your co-counselors are?
I wonder if there were
I think that's an amazing point of view.
You have to start. We don't look at each other as human beings. We look at each other as counselors, as either an ally or adversary. But you're really looking over as, this is the person, the citizens that is worthy of sitting in this seat. If you don't honor the counselor, you have to at least honor the seat they sit in, with some mutual respect.
I'm spitballing here because this is
now you're using my terms.
This is a idea that just came to me right now. I don't know how popular this would be, but
next door, are you listening?
Imagine if you would, a non-agenda, because the Sunshine Laws basically say if there is going to be any discussion between the counselors on, or for any board for that matter, it has to be a public meeting. And I guess our version
noticed
of public meeting
and record. I forget my exact word, but noticed and recorded in a public meeting.
Yes.
And these are for future agenda items, things you might vote on, putting in a simple term. Yeah. We were all going to be together, hopefully, Memorial Day, Veterans Day.
Yeah.
Every counselor that's around or tries to make it to these events, and we all sit right next to each other.
Yeah.
There's some charitable events where we
Yeah.
But I'll make you laugh. If you ever see 2 or 3 counselors, if we just happen to be somewhere together and maybe we're at the end of a charitable event or here at the end of some social event and we're sitting at the same table, people will literally walk by and say, sunshine law violation.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
go, we're talking about coffee.
Yeah.
We're talking about if we like a latte versus
Yeah,
an
yeah.
espresso. But they kind of point the
Asking
finger at
coffee or
us.
tea.
So we make it a good
Yeah.
practice to try to keep our distance.
But my idea, a podcast where we have all 7 on at the same time, and we just like it's not just it's like we're not going to talk politics at all. We're just going to get to know each other for a little bit.
What's your favorite place on Marco?
Yeah,
That could
It's like-
absolutely
it's
work.
like-
Favorite beach?
It's like Councilor
Favorite
Gray,
restaurant?
tea or coffee. I know I asked you previously, but has your mind changed?
That that would probably be a whole lot of fun.
Yeah.
Tell you, run it by the city attorney first.
Yeah.
But that you make a lot of sense. That really is the time where you get to know each other in subtleties, not in battles over trolleys or
Yeah.
tolls or rentals or. Here's an example, and I used to say this: the greatest job I ever had, coaching the Marco Island Academy varsity girls soccer team.
Yeah.
And I had an incredible team. They were good. I was lucky.
We had a great
Loved
soccer.
If there's
yeah.
one person on this island that has my utmost respect, it's Jane Watt for starting at high school. Just absolutely love the woman. To segue, I call her Tommy, short for Tommy Barfield. As I say, she's a
That's great, yeah.
reincarnation of Tommy, a woman who pioneered education. But it was a great job. But I would teach the team. The lessons are not in the wins. They're easy. The lessons are in the losses.
Yep.
The losses sting. And, look at it in terms of money. Make $1,000 in a day, great. Maybe you'll remember how it happened. Lose $1,000 in a day, you'll remember every single step of that. So the
It's
lesson,
because I didn't sell before the drop. That's what happened.
whatever it might be, right? So the lessons are in the losses. Our losses happen in public while we're debating and while we're digging our heels into the ground and stalemating
Talk
over
about such a
something.
public
There's not
job,
a lot
yeah.
of time to sit and talk about the loss or reflect on it or bond over it or have a beer or a cup of coffee over it. We don't get those opportunities. We're not in a corporate room. We're in a meeting that takes place in public.
Yeah.
So if we had a chance to go out for a cup of coffee or beer or wine or whatever your choice is, we could really sit down and then, hey, this happened, what happened, maybe find some reasons to bond, to respect each other, well, I missed that point. I should have saw it your way.
Yeah.
It happens, and the other thing that's challenged, it happens very quick in the public eye. At the end of the meetings, I think of everything I should have said.
Oh, of
and
course,
how I
yeah.
should have said it. And what I should have went back and revisited. But it's happening in real time on a camera in front of a community.
And then you've got 2 weeks to stew over it.
Yeah.
It really, there really is a learning curve, and we are denied some of that learning curve and that bonding time due to Sunshine Law. And I'll end it on that one.
Yeah. What's your favorite part about being on city council?
Well, I always say, I didn't run because of ego,
Right.
and I have enough of it. If you saw me as a coach screaming across the soccer field, I do. But I wanted to try to instill some of the values I had into the community or my time in the community. But everybody has to have a little bit of ego to want to sit up there. You have to at least want to be in the public eye. And you're on a camera in front of for good or for bad.
I can
And
relate.
I'll be honest. That's the part of the job I enjoy the least, the absolute least. I don't need to see myself quoted in a newspaper. I lived on the island long enough. I know enough people. I'm not looking for that part of it. Actually, in all truthfulness, if we didn't have Sunshine Law and this job could be done like in a corporate boardroom, I would enjoy it more.
Yeah.
Not because I want to hide from the community. We could just get more done.
Yeah.
But my favorite time, I kind of thought you were going to ask this, and I'll make you laugh. I was practicing this, thinking about this in the shower today, just so you know. And I said, what was my best times on council? Well, Rich Blana spearheaded, former Councilor Blana, Conserve Collier.
Yeah.
Where, for those folks who are watching, if you're not familiar, on your tax bill, part of what you're taxed on is something called Conserve Collier. The citizens voted for this. Some of your tax money goes into an account, and it's used to buy land, to save it for conservation. And Rich was really the one that pushes. I was proud to be part of it and proud to vote on it and help push it forward. But he really spearheaded it. And we brought $5 million of your tax money back to Marco Island for the first time ever for land to be conserved on Marco. I thought that was one of my prouder moments, or a prouder moment that I was part of. But then I thought, well, gosh, we did some sponsorship for the Camp Mackle, both from my business and both personally, for kids that everybody thinks we're just wealthy on Marco, but there's children and there's parents that can't afford to send their kids to summer camp.
Yeah.
So we're able to raise some funds.
I was one of those kids, so.
Then you know exactly what I'm talking about. We're able to raise funds for that, so that felt good. My very first email I ever answered was regarding the bocce courts at Mackle Park. And they seem like mostly Italians, the Italian American club, but others. But they were 7 years trying to get the bocce courts fixed, and I'm obsessive compulsive, and I want to fix every problem.
Right. Feel
And
that.
that's the first one I answered, and I don't remember, 2 or 3 months later, we had fundraised for the entire $47,000 needed to finish the bocce courts. And great people. Not to plug anybody but my partners in the Carvelli Restaurant Group. I went to them and said, hey, you guys play bocce and you were born and raised. Can I do a fundraiser at your restaurant? I want to try to raise these funds to get these courts. It's not in the city budget. And they ended up donating $40,000 of the funds, and I went out and raised the other $7,000. The generosity on the island is incredible.
Yeah.
100%.
So that felt a little bit good to fix a problem, to do it without taxpayers' money. I'm feeling good about myself. Then it came time to get some more hydration stations and water fountains at Mackle Park. And that was prior to being a council member, Deb Henry, who went out and spearheaded that for me with Rotary money. Not a penny of the taxpayers' money. So now you're feeling good as a councilor. You're not spending tax money, you're getting things done, and you're bringing money in to boot, which is always a tough subject for the community. But it wasn't until, as much as my wife says I'm a tough exterior shell, I get a little choked up on this one. It wasn't to a young woman, I think maybe late 30s, early 40s, forgive me if I'm a little off on the, named Margaret Hackett, came to our council meeting, and she, for lack of a better term, I don't want to say rolled in, but she had to come in on her wheelchair, her electric wheelchair, because she has a debilitating challenge, and she's not paralyzed from the neck down, but pretty close.
Right.
And so she comes up to the podium to speak. She signed up for public speaking, and I later found out this is not in her comfort level to do this. But one day she woke up and she said, I can't get into the dog park because it's just a muddy path to get in, and her wheelchair sinks in it. It's heavy. It's a mechanical, with the batteries and everything. She didn't want to get there for her own benefit. She wanted to get here because her dog Fievel, who was in service to her, this dog didn't choose this path. It had a path chosen for him to be in service to somebody, to be a service companion. And she said, I can't bring him to the dog park. And if I do, I have to sit outside and let him go in with one of my caretakers or help me out. And he's in there. And she wasn't asking for herself. She just wanted her dog to be able to be a dog for a couple hours a day. I mean, that's it. And I'm listening to the story. I'm trying not to tear up as I am now. And this was our newer, I call it new council. This new council. I say old previous council and new council. And I'm the veteran now, right? I'm the guy with the second most time in. So now I'm feeling a little more comfortable to speak up and to insert my wants or asks or desires. So it's the only time I ever said to city staff, guys, I want this done. I want an estimate for a path to the dog park. I want it within X amount of time. I don't want any red tape. It has to happen.
Right.
And to the staff's credit, they were amazing. They jumped into action. And then behind closed doors, I did tell them, guys, I know we don't have the budget. I will get the money. And then say, I always say on the dais, I do, okay, I'm middle class or Marco. Yeah. I'll find it, I'll get it, I'll pay it myself. We'll make it happen. And I'm like, if you guys might be too young to remember the Jerry Lewis telethons, but it's a famous comedian from years past that did a telethon once a year for muscular dystrophy was his thing, and he raised $65 billion year to date or some crazy number. But like that telethon, I'm up on the dais saying, guys, I have no shame to use my platform for something this important. Look who just sent us a check. And I'm highlighting this not only to say thank you, but to highlight for all you folks out there watching, send us your money if you can. Send something if this is an amazing cause.
Mm-hmm.
Some woman, I don't even know who she was, sent us $5,000.
Yeah.
I didn't know her name. I said it on the dais. Businesses from Lehigh Acres and different places, because they do a lot of business on Marco, sent us checks.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we fundraised for the entire dog park path, and I think a little bit extra was left over. That was the best feel-good moment I ever had as a counselor. I got a lot of credit for it. The only credit I get is for being lucky enough to help somebody else.
Yeah.
To be the guy that was talkative enough to say, I'll take this one on.
Yeah.
I'm good at fundraising.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm forward. I got it. And when you meet Margaret Hackett, she is an amazing human being. Now, this pathway that we pay, she's a little crushed shell pathway,
Yeah.
but it serves its purpose. It's got everybody there. You know how many other people are benefiting from this? Anybody with mobility issues.
Yeah.
Anybody who just might not be a little bit sure on their feet, right? Now, your shoes don't get muddy when you walk in.
Mm-hmm.
That was, I think I said to my co-counselors, you don't get a lot of time to really feel like good on the dais. That was the most heartfelt for good feeling for me. It's the proudest thing I was able to accomplish. Setting budgets and all are important, but being able to truly have an effect on somebody's life, that's what it should be about.
Yeah.
The other moment was just this very last meeting. The most emotional moment for me was when Chair Brecknitz. Now, there's no secret, Eric and I have gone to battle a few times on that dais, and I generally respect him as a human being. We don't always agree on everything, but I believe we both have a mutual respect on the dais. It's kind of like, you can bash my brother. I mean, you can't, excuse me, but I can, you know.
Right.
I can pick on him. We sit in equal power, but you better not come up and do that, and I'll defend him. But at the last meeting when he said, I think he literally said, I died twice on the operating table. They brought me back or something like that. And here I sit in this meeting, and I have to get off now. I have to get off the Zoom call. My doctors are making me get off. That was as emotional as it gets.
Yeah.
That's when you really realize how bonded you are. And I think I got to go back watch the meeting. I believe I said, love you, Eric, like right in a public meeting, because I just felt that way. That was another, like, maybe one of my most emotional moments.
Yeah.
The rest of it is a job, but it's a job done in public. It's a job that we were elected to, that on day one, we don't really know what we're doing.
Yeah.
We are the bosses of the city manager and of the community, and there's nothing that gave you experience for this. I mean, maybe some life experience or advisory committees, but you just kind of come in fresh. A lot of learning and a lot of, bouncing, debating over small items.
Yeah.
So those are really the things that stick out in my mind. If you talk to my dad, my name is on the fire station on a plaque, and he thinks it's the greatest. I told this story, but he thinks it's the greatest thing in the world.
Yeah.
That the Palumbo name, and I said, Dad, I didn't do anything to earn it. It was all planned before I got there. Just by virtue of the day I was elected, I'm on the plaque.
Yeah.
And I said, I tried to go back to former Councilor Bobrowski and say, would you like your name instead of mine? And she said somebody started this before she was there. She goes, you take the credit. But my father tells me, your mother was first generation speaking English for our family. And she taught her parents how to speak English. And then here you are, one generation later. So he connects those dots and thinks the fact that the Palumbo family name is on a governmental building, he thinks it's like on the President of the United States of America.
Yeah.
So you talk to my father, that's his proudest moment.
Wow.
That was a lot. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, that was amazing.
I have thoughts.
And
I want to see if you want to comment first.
And please edit out whatever went on too long.
No.
This is great.
Perfect.
We're-
Yes.
We're doing good.
Kudos to you. I mean, I feel like a lot of the time I think of council, like the people on council, and I get really scared. Like sometimes I'll see some people at Publix, and I will hide in an aisle.
Okay, I won't say
And
anything.
like I feel like sitting and getting to know you and hear this, and whoever hears it from YouTube, Spotify, wherever, I hope they have the chance to connect. Like I feel like I'm connecting, because I don't do a lot of homework. So I would have never, ever, ever guessed that somebody on city council would just put so much back into Marco. And your determination to do it through any means, it like speaks volume to me. I'm just actually I'm very baffled and like so happy that you're on council.
I'm good at a few things in life. Public speaking always came a little more natural, although sometimes I'm a bit long-winded with it, but fundraising always came a little more natural. And on council, I tread lightly because I'm not ashamed to use my platform for good. And if that means fundraising on that platform for something good, not for a side project or then I'm not ashamed. I'm not ashamed. And I'm the one counselor that you will see that thanks every other counselor. Councilor Gray and I are always perceived to be the opposite sides of those teams, right? We're not supposed to like you. Some of the public thinks we shouldn't like each other. It's not true. I respect the man deeply.
Of course.
And
as you should.
but I'm the first one and only one to say thank you for donating your city council pay back to council. That's an incredible thing. Now, I don't donate mine back, but mine goes to other places. I don't say that up there. I don't need credit for that.
Right.
A little plug for good causes. Mine are St. Jude's, Wounded Warriors, different things. The Big Brothers, Big Sisters, of course. I haven't been a part of it.
Yeah.
The Marco Island Academy, a lot of different. St. Matthew's House sometimes, a lot of different things. But I try to take that pay. And my pay after taxes are $6,000 that you, the good citizens, pay us. By the way, we haven't had a raise since 1997 when we became a city. But I try to dole it out to different places. It just feels good to kind of maybe pay that forward a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I never talk about up there because I don't need credit for that. But Stephen right there said, "Here's my check.
Yeah.
City, do what you will," and that's an incredible.
Yeah.
That should be. Some people donate because they want the recognition of it.
Right.
Some people donate because they don't want the recognition. They just want to do good. St. Jude's, for example. Do you think cancer cares if you want recognition or not?
No.
The people that are fighting cancer just want the $10 million check. They don't care. If you want recognition, they'll put your face on a billboard.
Yeah.
They just want to fight the cause. And by the way, if you never watched the Danny Thomas story, who was a comedian who started St. Jude's, you will cry when you watch it.
Okay. Danny Thomas story.
Danny Thomas,
Okay.
he said something to St. Jude about, he didn't ask for success, but he asked something to the effect of, help me to be the best I can. And he said, I will build you a shrine. And so he did.
Yeah. I think what this entire conversation has kind of led to is whenever I see someone trying to criticize whether it be local, state, or national politician, one of the first things that is said is you're a public servant. And I mean, there isn't much more that I could say serves the public other than that. It's like that is truly actually like there are people in the community with a problem. We are solving it. I don't care how we're going to do it, but it is getting done. I mean, my mom was wheelchair bound. My mom died 5 years ago from multiple sclerosis.
You understand some of what I'm
so I fully understand. And
you've experienced
we donated her wheelchair to Carrie Wallace, Carrie Island Songbird. I mean, the first time I ever stood up on that dais, I believe I was in 7th grade. This was when I was on the debate team, and we were given an opportunity as I think Jenna might have been with me on that. I actually don't remember.
She came home talking about capital punishment and
on the debate club. I think I gotta find the picture.
I remember capital punishment and something else, debating something else for.
But I believe we were in with Miss Minning's class for that, and we brought. We were told, like, at the end of the club, our big thing was we were going to go down to the city council, and all of us, there were 7 of us on the debate team, and we all sat up there, and we all had a piece of sort of like legislation or something that we were supposed to present. And the first thing that I did was I presented photos that I took of one of the crosswalks on the corner of Heathwood and San Marco. The button for the crosswalk was about 8 feet from the sidewalk, up on a concrete pedestal, up about
I remember this
5
actually.
feet, pointed away or towards the racket center. And I came up there and I was just like, this is a problem. It's like, I can barely reach it. My mom, who's in a wheelchair, there is no way she can get to it. She has to wait for traffic to stop. It's like she can't cross the street on her own. And I as a 7th grader, I get up there and say it. And I was smiled and nodded at. And it was not until someone else who's more eloquent than a 7th grader got up there and said, hey, this needs to change. And then it got changed a little more recently.
But you brought the problem to light, did you not?
Yeah, but nothing really got done about it then. So more so what I'm saying now is kudos to actually, like listening. And
Well,
I think, and I'm not saying to the detriment of, I don't know who was actually even at that meeting, but the fact of the matter is it's in a somewhat similar vein, I'd say. I guess thank you for all that you do for the island. And I thanks to everyone who takes that position and takes up a cause like that, because I mean we're all on this rock, not just Marco, but on this planet for a purpose, and we're all here for a very short time, and the most that we can do to make that better is, I mean, invaluable. So
Well, go back to your mom's story, and go back to when I talk about the dog park path.
yeah,
As I said to Margaret, or Miss Hackett, I call her Margaret, we're very close now. What a privilege it is to know her, and what an incredible persevering attitude she has for having been dealt a tough hand.
yeah,
But at the council level, I said, we're sorry. We didn't mean to not see this.
Yeah.
We just don't see it on it. We're not looking with your set
Yeah.
of eyes on a daily basis.
it's a perspective.
So you can't fault us for not seeing it.
Of course.
But once we were made aware, if we did nothing, you could fault us for that.
Of course,
That's
yeah.
when we start taking on accountability. It's a big island. We feel small, but
Oh, yeah.
roadways, waterways, seawalls, we can't find everything wrong. So when the citizens come up and say, here's what's going on, I say, thank you. Thanks for being another set of eyes. We're all in this together. I mean, my wife says it always sounds like I'm campaigning, and I'm not. but the truth of the matter is, we are all in this together. If you see a problem and alert us to it, we could fix it.
Yeah.
We're all better off. So you get a pass. If you don't see something wrong, you don't get one once you're alerted to it if you do nothing about
Yeah.
it. That's not acceptable.
Bystander effect.
And that's why I started doing the fundraising part, the things I couldn't control within the budget. And we're an incredible, generous community. When I tell you, when I learned this coaching that there are children that played at the academy whose parents couldn't afford the $200 soccer fee or for a set of cleats.
Yeah.
And when I tell you, one of the reasons I'm partners at Sweet Annie's is my daughter worked there.
Yeah.
And the owner's a friend. Became a friend. And I would go there and say, can you sponsor a player for soccer? His name is Tim Hager, and I love this man. He's the greatest partner in the world. And Luigi Carvelli and the Carvelli family. And I go to them and say, can you sponsor a soccer player? I need $200. And I put money into the team already. And they used to give us a little coach's stipend. And I put that into the team already. And the checks they gave me were not $200. They were in the thousands and the tens of thousands. I couldn't use them for one soccer team. Until this day, we support the schools and the kids. But the lesson learned was there are children on this island whose parents are just getting by,
Yeah.
barely
100%.
surviving.
Case in point, we have a food pantry.
Our daily bread. We have a food pantry. How about after Hurricane Irma was the wind event, but Hurricane Ian was the water event.
Yeah.
And after Hurricane Ian, we all have pictures. And this is one thing I'm not really proud of, but there's pictures of me during campaigning that I was out. I really was going out just to give food out during Ian.
Yeah.
But you take those pictures and you stick them up because you need them when you're campaigning. And I'll admit, they snapped them of me. They became campaigning moments. I never did it. For that one, I never did it for that. But I kept saying on the campaigning level and after that, we all got together and fed these folks after Ian and helped them out. Where are you now? Where are you right now?
Yeah.
Who is going to 6th Ave right now and Marco Lake Drive and helping people that need it? Because it was popular back then.
Right.
But then this segment of our population is forgotten about.
Yeah.
And you have to be a voice for those folks.
Yeah.
You
It's
really
not
have to
all
be.
golf carts and gourmets. Yeah.
No, and then the other argument is tourism, right?
Mhm.
Tourism infuses tons of money into our economy.
Mhm.
The estimate is about $1.5 billion. And yeah, it makes me a little more money. And yes, we sell a few more ice creams, and I might sell a few more houses, and my family is better off for it, right? And you could drive a little nicer car if that's your thing. But how about, you might understand this, maybe you didn't have as much means when you were growing up, talking about being one of those kids that can't mackle. Tourism provides a job for somebody to go work at a restaurant and to feed their children and to buy shoes and maybe try to get them an iPhone so they fit in with some other kids and they're not the ostracized kid who's the only kid with a flip phone or something at the time. Tourism on its purest level is feeding families.
Yeah.
And it does a lot of other things. There's
My dad was a photographer, so almost solely his income was from families vacationing down here who wanted family portraits on the beach, and then companies coming in and doing conventions at the Marriott, Hilton, what have you.
So you starved in September. Remember, you I don't know if
We were
you're
fed
old
by the
enough.
school.
I don't know if the two. Wow. Did you say fed by the school?
Yeah, so once a month we would get food that was given to us. I had no idea really what was going on, but my teacher would take me, maybe one or two other kids, into a back room and say, it's like, here, put this in your backpack, take this home. It's like bags of rice and stuff like that. And we were on food stamps as well. I don't think it was SNAP at that time, but
WIC, or I don't remember the names or whatever the acronyms were. They keep changing them. So I'm going to tell you something. Do we have time on this?
Yeah, we got.
I'm going to share something.
We can. This could, if we wanted to, be until the sun is gone.
I don't want to.
So
This might resonate with the both of you. Just before we moved down here in 1997, I'm at, I think it was the Bridgewater Commons Mall in Bridgewater, New Jersey. And myself and my wife are there, and I believe it's December 23rd, like the day before Christmas Eve. And the mall was closing, but there was one of those giving trees or the Salvation Army trees. And there in that particular tree, there was adults on there, not just kids. Now mostly you see children. So we took a few names off and got a couple things. But the mall was closing in about like 18 minutes. And there was 2 names left on the tree. And I said to my wife, I said, we can maybe, one person wanted a radio alarm clock, because back then you had radio alarm clocks. And one person wanted a hoodie, or the sweatshirt we called them back then. We didn't call them hoodies, but a hoodie. And I said to my wife, if we run really quick across the street to Kmart, because I think Kmart was I don't know if you guys ever heard that. It's like a Walmart.
Yeah, no, I remember Kmart.
Like, I don't know, I'm dating myself.
Yeah.
But there's still a Kmart open, I believe. We can get these and run back and get them under the tree.
Yeah.
But it would have been like super fast. And you're running across a semi-Route 41 looking highway. But I knew I could do it. But she goes, what are you, crazy? So we didn't do it. And when I tell you these 2 names I left on the tree haunted me, like to my soul. So now we moved down to Florida. It's 1998 and Christmas of 98. And the Walmart by the courthouse.
Yeah.
We call it the small Walmart. That's what we call it.
Yeah.
We go in there for something.
We have a different name.
We go in there and they have the giving tree, the angel tree, whatever they called it. So I said to my wife, we did okay back then. I wasn't real sad. I wasn't, I'm like I always say, middle class for Marco, but middle class for Marco, you're still doing pretty well.
Yeah.
You're not poor by no means. And we're joking about the story, or not joking, but kind of talking about the story about the 2 names left on the tree the previous year. So I say to her, because it's our money, right? We're not the kind of husband and wife to have separate accounts or anything. Everything's ours together. I say, how about we take all the names off the tree? And I never told her, I'm not telling this for any credit, but she goes, let's do it.
Yeah.
So we take every name off the tree. And everybody wants, there's the children's size for their clothes, and there's also like a toy.
Yeah.
So we buy everybody a toy and their clothes. And I'm being a little probably politically incorrect at that point. I'm like, look at this poor kid. He's got a waist size of 34. He's 8. Like he's getting picked on. Let's buy him some cool clothes and let's buy him the best toy he wants. And I'm like telling stories about, I'm envisioning who these children are. And she's like, oh God, you're so crazy. But we're making, not a fun event of it, but we're enjoying the giving
Right,
part of it,
yeah,
right? We're
of
embracing
course.
giving. So we clear the tree, we buy everything, load the carts up, and I kept putting it to the bottom of the stack of my little, the name tags. It's a kid that wants a bike. And, you know, bikes in Walmart back then are $89. But we already had like 40 names off the tree. We spent
Yeah.
a good amount of money back then.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was, maybe like a couple $1,000s or whatever. And we just moved down and I'm living with family. I'm going to buy a house. So like money's not just flowing.
Right.
And the first thought was to put the bike back on the tree. And I remember that year before, I was like, God, no. That bike will haunt me till the day I die.
Yeah.
So we buy the bike. And I'm rolling the bike up to the tree. And, there's no names left on the tree right now. And the really nice thing about it was, I asked beforehand how this works. You left the presents and the parent got to come and pick the presents up. So it wasn't from somebody from a tree. The parent can give it as if they went and got it for their child, which was even better.
Wow. Yeah.
I didn't want
That's sweet.
So now I'm like, wow, mom and dad somehow got me a bike.
Yeah.
I know we're of, maybe, you're kind of, maybe the kids could realize they're of a little lesser income.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a second beautiful benefit to it. And I'm so proud. And I got to tell you, I'm having a little bit of a human moment where I'm feeling good about giving. I'm feeling good about the money I spent.
Yeah.
I know it's not for my glory, but I'm feeling glory.
Yeah.
I got to admit it. I have to tell you. And I'm rolling that bike up to the tree, and I'm proud as could be. And I drop it off at the counter, and they loaded the tree with names again. It was full of names. and I go like, how many more names do you have back there? So I looked at my wife, and we took a few off. We took a few and got a few more gifts, but I couldn't clear the tree again because I was
Right,
going to
yeah.
keep replenishing the tree. So I felt, true story, and I kind of was like, but
It
there
never
was
ends,
no
yeah.
way on God's earth that I was going to leave that one. At the
Yeah.
time, I'm thinking it's the last tag, right? This is the last one. There's no others. This is the last. I'm not going to leave one kid bikeless.
Well, so here's something to think about though too. If they would have replenished the tree if that name was left or not.
I never
So
thought of it that way.
It's then thinking about it. Even if they replenish the tree, someone else comes along, are they going to pick that name still? So
That's a good.
you
Until this day,
guaranteed that
it's a great way to look at it. Till this day, I could not leave a name on a tree.
Yeah.
And at Sweet Annie's, we do through the Carvelli restaurant. You guys have snuck in
Yeah.
Marco Prime, Da Vinci's
Yeah.
Oyster Side. Through them, we do. We have a smaller tree. It's a 4-foot one.
Yeah.
I'm trying to show you the size, but we do one for Youth Haven.
Yeah.
And I'm not a big social media guy. If you look at my Facebook account, I go on it twice a year. It's not my thing. I do for real estate and for my clients, I do what needs to be
Yeah.
done. But for myself, I don't. But we put the names on there. Whatever's left, I just take them off. And me and my partners, we just buy whatever. It was a lesson learned in you can't change everything. You can't make everything better. But I had an opportunity to make a little something better for two people, and I didn't take it. And I could have made it work. The time was there.
Yeah.
But hopefully those two names that were left on the tree, I always imagine somebody had a few more gifts in there. Nobody went without a gift who was on there. And the other thing is what I've been able to pay forward from that. Like that lesson learned is if I could change something, I will.
Yeah.
Yeah, so. Boy, we've covered a lot of ground.
We have.
I mean,
I say this on a lot of podcasts, but this has been one of my favorite episodes we've done so far. This is great. I'm enjoying myself.
well, hit me with whatever you have.
I'm
an open book.
Don't want it to end. What's that?
I'm an open book.
Yeah. Here, do you have anything that you want to comment on that?
I did for a second. Hold on. Give me like 2 seconds because it'll come right back to me.
You want to ask me a good one? Ask me why I moved to Marco Island, Florida.
I actually was going to ask you, how did you hear about Marco?
So, unless you had a better question, Joe, I mean,
No, go for it.
vacationed here a few times.
I was actually going to ask you
Vacationer.
that an hour ago. But
Vacationed here. My sister and brother-in-law moved to the island in 91, I think, early 90s. Came down to visit them and just fell in love with it. And we would come down in September. We didn't have kids at the time, and it was super quiet. It was incredible. And we'd always tie it into a cruise, or I'm a big NASCAR fan, so we'd stop somewhere in the South. He always jokes, you have to go north to get to the deep South from Marco Island.
Yeah.
And it would be Bristol, Tennessee, or Martinsville, Virginia. We'd go watch a race, then drive over to Miami, jump on a cruise ship, and then come over here. So we visited, I think, maybe 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
And then I was driving home one day from Oakland, New Jersey, not California, excuse me.
Yeah.
Oakland, New Jersey.
There might be an Oakland in Florida.
To where I lived. And it was about usually a hour and a half drive in traffic, 40 miles. And I called my wife and I said, honey, I'm going to be real late. It's snowing. We're going to take forever. It took me like 3 hours to get home. And of course, in New Jersey, they're always doing road construction in the winter, while all the guys stand next to the big 55-gallon drum with a fire in it and nobody's doing anything. But I got home and my sister called me and she said, I know there's no way you'd want to move to Florida. But do you think you'd want to invest in a restaurant in Florida? My brother-in-law is the chef at Da Vinci's restaurant. Chef Giovanni, if you want it as a plug. Greatest chicken parm you're ever going to have in your life. And I said to her, I am so fed up with where I live. The drive home, it was literally the tipping point in my life.
Yeah.
I said, my wife's name is Sue, if Sue was, and she'd always joke, I would move to Marco Island in a second. I hate winter. I say, if she's into it, I'll be there in 2 weeks. And honestly, God, 2 months later, we lived in Florida. Sold my condo a week later, packed up a budget a big moving truck, towed one car behind it, and my wife Sue drove behind me with her car, and we rolled into Marco Island.
That's great.
And there is not one moment for 1 second of my life I've ever regretted moving here. I had a great childhood. I lived in a great state, but I was destined for Marco Island. Its view, its serenity, this is me as a calm person. Imagine me as so Marco soothes my soul.
I just look around.
It was the greatest thing. And I always say
the first cold day of the year right now.
Sure. And the greatest compliment to this island that I could personally give it, other people can give it great, but the greatest compliment is myself and my wife, we chose where to live first before we had kids. We chose where our children are going to be born and raised. And I looked around and think I couldn't find a better place.
Yeah.
I'm a little more worldly traveled now, but back then I wasn't quite as much. But in my travels, a few cruises, a few different places, I never experienced anything like this.
There's nowhere like this.
I'm biased. If heaven meets earth in one place, it's right here on Marco Island. So that's how we got to Marco Island, Florida.
Right.
That's awesome. Being from here, Yancey will always be like, would you ever move somewhere else? I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Like, I've been here for 22 years, not happening.
Yeah. Well, Jordan, I'll tell you, before you, I didn't mean to interrupt, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Before you, when Ryan and I were talking, as we were setting up before you got here, I had told him, I had said, Ryan, my kids are your age, 23 and 21. We're not in a car too often together anymore. But when they're both here around the Christmas or holidays, if we take a ride to Fifth Avenue or something, and we burden Fifth Avenue with our presents and our money, right? And we park in their garage.
You put a toll at that light.
So I am a day trip visitor to Fifth Avenue. So when you go back to,
where are my pearls?
but I also respect other people's communities and treat them with dignity. But the point to what I was going to say, not to joke about tourism versus living here, is when we come over the bridge, and my kids are in the car, and I say, and they know what I'm going to say, kids. When you drive over this bridge, is it as moving to you as it is to me? Is it as meaningful to you, being that you were born here? And Jenna will say it before I even say it. Dad, I know what you're going to say. Is it as meaningful? No, Dad, it's not. We love where we live, and it is. We're very proud to be here, but we were born and raised here our whole life. And you did show us the world, and you showed us some other areas that aren't as, don't have as much benefit. And they are conscientious of what they have.
Yeah.
But they're like, on a core level, it's not as meaningful to us as you.
Right.
You've seen a lot of things in your life. But I still ask the question, and I still say every time, I never get tired of driving over this island. Oh my God, it still looks incredible. And they make fun of me for it and joke. But it really is from the heart. I still go, wow. 28 years later, look at where I've been living on Marco longer than you've been on this earth, and I'm still wowed driving over that bridge.
I love going over the bridge. Like, I always try to look around, and when you're going off the island, I always get irked that you can't see to the other side because the one bridge is taller.
Yeah,
I'm like, I
that's
want to
funny.
see what it looks like.
Well, we used to joke about
Part of the
the
reason I got
Goodland
a
Bridge.
taller car.
We was
Because my
go-
sedan, I
Isn't
couldn't
our
see it.
car the same height?
No, my sedan. When I was in the Sonata,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
the one that I
The small one.
destroyed. I didn't destroy it. Other drivers destroyed it.
Wait, could you
but
not see over the bridge, period? Like, over the rails?
Barely.
Guys, go
but-
over the Goodland Bridge. It's
Yeah.
I think it's even more art. So it looks
Yeah,
like
yeah.
we used
No,
to
I know.
joke and say it feels like you could jump it like the Dukes of Hazzard. You know that show? I'm not
yeah.
sure.
Yes.
No, I know. But I experience that more than anything else when I'm away from Marco. So when I go and I come back after more of an extended leave, I was on a work trip 3 weeks ago. I was over in Vero Beach. We were there for 2 days, and it was myself and a coworker of mine, Christian. He's lived on the island for maybe 8 years, and he was saying as we were on Collier, and I was driving him back to his house, he goes, I never thought that I would say I miss this place. It's like I miss Naples, I miss Marco so much. And then my friend Wesley started a tradition. Whenever we go away for a trip and we come back, we play Motley Crue's Home Sweet Home, and
I'm on my way.
We time it so it crescendos as we are coming over the bridge, and we just see the Marco Island city limit
That's
sign come
great.
into view, and it's I'm on my way, home sweet home, and you see, and last time it was sunset as we were coming over, and it's just there's no the sky here is different. Everything about this place.
I see
is
the
so
green
great.
flash here a lot.
I don't, but I don't have the best eyes.
I got to
But-
tell you, you might appreciate this. I had a very good buddy. He's no longer with us, unfortunately. And he was successful to a level that most people will not achieve in the world.
Yeah.
But he was conservative with his money. Well, he didn't splurge. One thing, he had a very nice house, right? That's
Yeah.
one thing he did splurge on. But he was showing me, he had in his atrium, you'd call it, almost like the Sistine, I always say 16, excuse me, Sistine Chapel. He had a painting on the atrium of his house. And he says, these are the actual clouds of Marco. I had taken a picture and given it to an artist. They painted the actual picture. So I said, would it have really mattered if you just painted clouds? And he said, it's the one thing I frivolously wasted money on in my life. It had to be the actual Marco Island clouds that day. And it took me years to understand that. To really
Look
understand
over there.
the connection. But I'll tell you the other thing too. And maybe this is a cautionary tale. We do live in a bit of a bubble.
Yeah, of course.
And my kids will tell me that, Dad, you don't realize we go to places now, homeless people. We don't see homeless on Marco, right? I don't have anything against homeless people, and I help if I can. But you go to different areas and say, wow, because this doesn't happen here. I'm from New Jersey. I mean, my kids tell me, Dad, I've taught them, like, there was a literal race riot on my street on South Plainfield, New Jersey, on Franklin Ave in 1984 with police barricades stopping people from fighting. So I always say I've seen a few things in my life.
Yeah.
I've come from a place that had its challenges. We all got along. We figured it out. But I mean, there were moments. But now I live in Marco Island, Florida, where it really is a bit of a sheltered area. And I forget where I've come from a little, and I get used to this environment. And I go to other areas, and sometimes I'm a little opinionated. I don't mean to be. Sometimes I go, wow, people live like this? And I have to take a moment and give myself a reality check and remember how blessed I am to be here, not judgmental to be here.
Of course.
Sometimes I feel a little less safe in areas that I grew up in because I don't experience it on a daily basis.
Yeah.
I mean, you should be cautious of wherever you're at, but how many people really walk around in fear of themselves? I mean, we function like a gated community, 2 bridges, one on, one off. You feel kind of as if you're a gated community almost. You feel safe. And I always say, I'm so impressed and thankful. We have an incredible police force. Statistically safest community in all of Florida. That's an incredible testament to our police.
Yeah.
But you also have to meet the community halfway, and it's an incredible testament to the community that lives a pretty morally righteous, good life. They're of high moral fiber. They don't do a lot. They don't create a lot of challenges. So it's the community meets the police force, and man, are we lucky.
Yeah.
So don't ever forget that. Don't let it desensitize you to the fact that other people need help.
Yeah.
Right here and over that bridge, We are blessed, but don't forget it, because it's easy to just take this for granted when you see it every day.
Yeah. Well, we are a bit over time, but do we want to do rapid fire questions?
Let's do a couple, yeah.
Yeah.
We can't not.
I'm enjoying this podcast. It's probably going to end up being our longest, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I
No,
didn't know.
you're all good.
Here's the thing. I am kidding myself that this is a 45-minute podcast. It's not possible.
Yeah.
Our
rapid fire questions alone aren't rapid.
Yeah.
So.
The thing is, the not just a Marco thing, but everyone has a story, right? And the main point of this podcast is I want to tell stories. I want people to be able to tell their story.
Yeah, you can't shrink that.
Yeah, and condensing that into, I think we were asked by Dr. Anthony, the concierge physical therapist, what makes a great guest on the podcast. And the number one thing that I said is passion. And it's, what are you talking about, and do you care? It's like, do you care so deeply about what you're talking about? And, that is evident.
I hope I checked those boxes.
You do.
Maybe the number 2 thing is lack of brevity, but that has never been my specialty.
Yeah,
so.
but if the number one podcast in the world is anything to go off of, he has 3-hour episodes all the time, so I don't care. You want
rapid
to
fire?
Get us firing?
Do we need like immediate rapid fire answers, or how do these?
You can do whatever you like.
I'll try to keep them condensed.
Sometimes we ask questions and then we go, so actually this is how I got to asking this question, and what is the route to your answer?
All right. Anyway, play the intro. There it is. Go ahead.
Did that die?
Huh?
Did that die?
It may have.
Do we have to redo all this?
No, not all of it.
Okay, and
am I on this one here?
Yes, yeah, you're good. You're good.
tea or coffee?
After all that philosophy.
Tea or coffee?
Yeah.
First half of my life, tea, healthy, tied it to the mind, meditation. Now it's straight coffee. I need the caffeine boost.
You're the opposite of most of your colleagues.
All right.
Because I was genuinely surprised how many people we asked right here, tea or coffee, and nearly everyone said tea.
Yeah.
I think it's...
and had never tried coffee.
Yeah. Was it Deb Henry and Benita?
Benita, yeah.
I never drank it till about 45. I'm 56 now, about 10, 12 years ago. And I just find myself needing that boost a little more than the tea.
I had coffee for the first time when I was on the 8th grade field trip in Key West.
All right, there you go.
I had it in the hotel room, and from then I was like, "This is great."
Bahia Honda State Park, or where'd you go? Snorkeling?
Yeah.
I think I went on one of those. I can't remember.
You probably did. I'm trying to remember who all the chaperones were for mine. Did you chaperone for Jenna's, or did you chaperone for
I think I actually chaperoned for a Boy Scout troop for, but I remember when Jenna did go.
Okay, yeah.
All right. What's the next?
You're next.
Oh, I am. Beach or mountains? I feel like this is obvious after this conversation we've had, but
mountains, believe it or not. I love to hike. I love to get out in nature. I feel like I can cut a few calories nowadays. Yeah. And I'm never going to move away from the beach. I just have to know it's there. I don't have to go there every day.
Yeah. I'm going to go hike up to Brown Mountain in North Carolina this upcoming week.
We just did Grandfather Mountain.
Oh, did you?
And my family will tell you, because I don't know how to relax, they're walking and sightseeing, and I'm literally running up and down it to get exercise. Like, it just, it's the way I am.
It's so fun.
What is the best pizza place on Marco?
Ooh.
Oh, come on, that's a tough
favorite
one.
pizza on Marco.
Okay, I'm a little biased.
And
here.
I was going to say we must remember the bias here.
I'm a little biased.
Second best.
If I'm going, wood oven grill kind of that style, then it's Da Vinci's. Plus, I also love the atmosphere, and I know everybody there. So it's not just the food; it's the whole package. But in all honesty, I try to spread the business out really well, and I don't really truthfully have a favorite. If I did, I'd tell you. Napoli on the Bay some days. Sammy's stayed open during the hurricanes.
Yeah,
he gave out free food. That means a lot to me. So sometimes I go over there. When it used to be Joey D's did a lot of charitable stuff for me and let me sell popcorn and stuff in there.
Still great.
So it was over there. Cavs, now that they're here. You got the new one, over by the big Publix. You call it the big Publix.
Tony's.
Tony's. We've been going over there, so we really spread them out. But I'll tell you, one of the best pizzas I ever had during the pandemic, COVID. I threw the bicycles, myself, my wife, and my son Ryan. You guys know, I think you know from school. We threw the bikes on the back of the trailer hitch on the car. We went up to downtown Naples. It's really amazing to see with everything just being so more quaint and the streets kind of quiet. But Napoli on the Bay was open, the one up there by the dock, and it was windy kind of like this, and we got a pizza to go, some Caesar salads, and took them over to a little park bench that overlooked the Naples Bay.
Yeah.
And that was the best pizza I've ever had in Florida because of being with your family, riding a bike, kind of getting out of the house.
Yeah.
So I didn't directly answer that, sorry, but we try to
No,
spread
you're
it out.
good. You're all good.
I feel like we had tested all of the pizzas under the worst possible conditions.
And if I'm hungry enough,
It was very poorly
look, if
planned.
I'm hungry
It
enough,
was
or
3
they-
hours after we started.
sorry,
looking.
if I'm hungry enough, there's a hurricane or something, it could be the frozen Red Baron pizza if that's less than nothing. It just depends on the day you catch me.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, South Plainfield, New Jersey, it's Chichio's.
Okay.
Cheers.
And Rodolfo's is second. Just so you know.
Then Alfredo's Pizza and Pizza by Alfredo. So, The Office reference. Anyway, let's see. Oh, that was your question.
That was
All right.
my question.
If you could sit down and have lunch with any historical figure, who would it be?
In the history of Earth?
It could be any person living or dead. Any person of note. It doesn't necessarily. I'm just trying to. We've been philosophical enough, just excluding like people that you know.
There's only one answer for me, and it's not from a religious standpoint. From how could it not be Jesus Christ?
Yeah.
I mean, I would have so many questions; it would take forever.
Yeah.
Can I give you a second?
More than
Yeah.
double the amount of questions that you had for Eric Breckenitz. So.
If I had a second of a little more, I'd be Abraham Lincoln. His story of not failure but perseverance to get to where he had gotten, and to what he did for this country in a time when racial, political, mankind issues, Indians, the Europeans coming over, it would be, those would be the two that would stick out in my mind.
Something that I learned about Abraham Lincoln this week, he was the only senator that spoke against I believe it was the Mexican-American War.
There you go.
He was the only one that stood up and said, hey, why are we wanting to do this? It's like, and it's the whole problem with yellow journalism at the time, but he was the only one who actually I might be misremembering which war it was. It might Mexican-American or Spanish-American War. It was one of those.
I can't look. I'm gonna date myself. I can't. 1860 Civil War. Spanish-American.
It was the one between
early
1812
1900s
and before the Civil
Pancho,
War.
I was at Pancho V. I think Spanish-American was later.
Okay,
But
yeah.
if you gave me one modern choice, I would say Martin Luther King, Dr. Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
He wasn't a great Black American. He wasn't a great civil rights leader. He was a great American.
Yeah.
Color should have nothing. He fought for Americans.
Oh,
He fought for. Now we know the whole story, and of course, civil rights. But that would be a conversation that might be more germane to what's going on today. And I'd have a lot of questions for that. Just a ton of questions there.
Okay. What is one piece of advice or piece of inspiration that you would give to our generation on Marco, as in like as far as
I guess just in any capacity.
in any capacity.
You guys see the coffee places right here where we're filming? I don't want to give up our location, but
No, we can. We're an avid supporter of kava culture.
the latte factor. All right, I'm driving to a cross country meet, 2018. I don't remember. And the Marco Island Academy didn't have buses or anything, so we carpool. And there's a girl named Wendy in the car, and I have an old CD in the car. And the guy is giving a financial seminar, and he's equating to, don't buy yourself a cup of Starbucks a day. Invest the $5 in an interest-bearing account or a retirement account. So that was his analogy, called it the latte factor.
And cut that credit card in half.
So
yeah.
This is playing in my car. Years later, Wendy works for me at Sweet Annie's.
Yeah.
And she says, hey, Coach, what was that coffee club investment thing? How do you invest in coffee or something? She asked me. And I said, no, it was an analogy. Don't spend $5 a day on coffee. Spend $5 a day investing in yourself. If you don't have one right now, as soon as we're done here, run over to your financial advisor and open up a Roth IRA.
Got one, yeah.
And start learning the value of compounding interest.
Mm-hmm.
And if everything else goes wrong in your life financially, you'll be rich by mistake when you're 59 and a half. And you could touch that money, because at your age, compounding interest is, I don't know who called it, Einstein or somebody, they called it, the eighth wonder of the world or something. Yeah. It's just like that snowball rolling down the hill, getting bigger and bigger. $100 invested today, you make 10%, $110 invested next year, that 110 makes 10%, that 111 makes 10%. That would be the greatest lesson. There's so many, but that would be one that sticks in my mind. Invest for yourself.
So I'll be right back. You asked the questions.
It's on Robinhood. I'll help you get your Robinhood account set up if
there
you
you
don't
go.
have one yet.
Long after I'm gone, you'll be thanking me if you follow this advice.
I will be.
We'll put you in the group chat with Rains, and he can tell
I'll
you what to
come back
invest
and
in.
comment
He's up
on this and be like,
60% this year.
he's right.
Okay. Thank you. Now I can send this clip to people and be like, "Hey, what have I been saying since 2020?"
What is it? Like, you sign up, I get $5, you get $5
No,
to
we
start.
actually both get a free stock.
Oh.
Yeah,
You get a share or something, or it could be. Isn't like a lottery of which stock you get.
Yeah, it's like you could get like, oh, you're getting Sirius XM, which is like $5.
Okay, now listen
a share
carefully.
Versus Apple.
Charles Schwab, Vanguard, low cost index funds.
Yeah.
You could look them up. You can Google them. A S&P 500 index fund. You could pretty much put your money in, set it, forget it, never look at it again in your life, and take a chance on the averages of the American stock market, and probably average 7% in interest over it's not exciting. It's not Bitcoin. It's not going to make you rich tomorrow. But there'll be a point when you go, wow, thank God I listened to that guy who ran over on his podcast.
Dang, that is a very good question. I don't want to end on my question, but so if you have another one, think of it.
Okay.
I was going to say, best concert you've ever been to.
Did you say concert?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I grew up next to New York. I mean,
Yeah.
I've been to, the reason I'm so loud is I'm literally going deaf. I am. I mean, my hearing is failing because I've been like 500 shows in Madison Square Garden. It was our thing. You jump on the train, you go there. Old school rock, the Rolling Stones were incredible. I got to see them at the Meadowlands Arena, and it was their farewell tour, but they've had 10 farewell tours since then. A buddy of mine just won tickets. I was last year in December. I was at Madison Square Garden for the final ever in its time Kiss concert.
Really?
You guys know Kiss with the makeup?
Yeah,
I don't know if you're familiar. And I go, he goes, you want to come up for this? I won tickets on the radio, like $1,600 each. That was probably the most crazy because it was their last show ever in New York, where they're from, and they were blowing off fireworks in the arena. And
Wow.
Oh, jeez, if I could have been there for
streamers and confetti. I mean, it was out of control. I can't remember some of them. They were so good.
Yeah.
On a more quieter, laid-back, Billy Joel was incredible. If I got to pick one out of all of those, probably New Year's Eve, 1987, New Jersey. Next to Bruce Springsteen, the second god of New Jersey is Bon Jovi, and I'm at a New Year's Eve concert, and like the place is just going nuts because it's John Bon Jovi from New Jersey. He lived 20 miles away. Yeah. Born and raised, and probably Bon Jovi.
I'm gonna have to go to more concerts. So far, I've got Luke Combs, Ringo Starr, and his all-star band.
Ringo, wow.
Yeah, I saw him up at the Sound Outdoor Auditorium in Clearwater, and that was great. That was so much fun because he's got a ton of people in his band. He's got Colin Hay from Men at Work. Yeah.
Who can it be now?
Yeah, and they did that song. Ringo played drums, and they've got Edgar Winter, and he gets up there with his synthesizer on a guitar strap. This is probably like the 5th time I've talked about this concert on the podcast because they ask this question.
Well,
a
I'd
lot,
keep you
but,
too
yeah.
long, but growing up outside of New York, we were kind of like a suburbs of New York City, and there's some great shows in small little theaters, the Palladium, CBGBs, all these were groups like Blondie, and I don't know if you're familiar with that. I'm so dated when I'm here with you. A lot of, you say Men at Work and all these, they came up through these, but there would be too many. There's some I forgot about, but when you say Motley Crue's seen them, you've been there, done that. That was our time. That was my, but that great question. I appreciate letting me relive my
yeah,
younger
absolutely.
days.
Yeah. All right.
All right, last one.
Okay. I'm all excited for that.
Yeah.
What is your favorite Marco pastime?
Ooh.
My favorite Marco pastime. Honestly, it's really just riding my bike around Marco.
Yes, I love doing that.
I'm a little high energy, in case you can't notice. It's tranquil for me. It's beautiful. Right? How could you not want to experience this area?
Yes.
As a counselor, as a realtor by trade, I go up and down the blocks. I see what's going on. I can kind of get the lay of the land.
I love looking at the big houses on the
Going
south
down
side.
the estates, yeah.
And if you ask my wife, she would tell you, I have to go on 2 bike rides. The one where I go before and ride really fast and get tired, and then ride with her. Because I'm a horrible husband some days. If we don't ride fast enough, I'm going to, like, I always want to make it a workout. And she's like, we're just relaxing, riding. Thank God she puts, honey, if you ever watch this, thank God you put up with me. I love you. I'm not the easiest, but I do my best. So we do 2 bike rides.
You know that thing that you just said. It's the I do my. I'm not the best, but I do my best. That is a perfect sum of this podcast. I think that kind of touches on everything that we talked about.
Oh, of this episode. I was like thinking
No,
to
not
myself,
the
I'm like,
entire
wait a
podcast.
second, isn't like part of our intro
that we
the
are
best?
the best. Yeah, no, we are the best because there's no one else. Well, we just
Winner
found
by
another
default.
Naples podcast, so Good Night Naples is out.
It's not out.
But it's not out, no, because Good Night Naples, that'll be the late night show. Anyway.
I like that. Good night. Well, hey, the Marco Midnight's now moved to about, 10 o'clock now?
Yeah.
When I moved here, the Marco Midnight was about 8 o'clock, then it moved to 9. Now it's kind of at 10.
I mean, you got Patty Murphy's and Kava Culture fighting it. So
Yes,
they
which
close at 2
Kava
a.m.
now having Patty's food though is
Yes.
a game changer.
Yeah, you can order from the late night menu from here, so you don't have to go into an actual bar atmosphere if you don't want to.
It's
great.
It's kind of interesting, technology based, how we could benefit from it. It really is not just from food, but anything, deliveries. I mean, I order something, I go to Amazon, I hit a button, and all of a sudden it knows what I wanted already. I'm trying to describe some little thingamajig or widget that what do you even call it? And you just try to describe it, and it shows up the next day.
Yeah. I don't know.
Quite incrable.
It's
I
an
placed an
incredible time
Amazon
to
order
live in.
today.
I got an Amazon order today. I placed yesterday. I got my new printout of my book in
Ooh.
today. I'll show
You
you.
still have to show me how to do that.
Yes, of course. But Darrin, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast today.
Yes.
Gosh, thank you for having me. This was incredible.
I know.
This was emotional. This was cathartic. This was exciting. This checked like every box.
I know. I really hope
I
that
loved it.
people will watch this and just get to know. I mean, would you like to plug yourself anywhere if someone wants to get into contact with you? What to do if you want them to go to Sweet Annie's? Tell them where it is.
And I mean, honestly, look, I'm easy enough to find. You could Google me. I'm all over as a real estate agent. I'm not looking for the business. You could Google me on the city council level. I have an email. So however you find me, just Google me. I'll pop up. And if you need any help, I'll do the best I can.
Official friend of the podcast.
Yes.
Do I get a pin or something or a T-shirt?
We should do that. Give out
The t-shirt
pins. Pins that say official friend of the podcast.
That'd be
that we give to
cute.
everyone.
Oh,
but
that'd
you are
be cute.
getting a mug. I can tell you that.
Yes.
All right, I appreciate that. Which I
gotta
could
go
drink my
grab it,
coffee
but-
out of. 'cause
Yes. But
We'll get you a Tervis for your
let me-
bike
can I-
rides
if I could say
too.
real quick, let me thank you for doing what you're doing.
absolutely.
I call you younger kids. Forgive me, because I know you're young
23
adults.
and 22.
I know you're young adults, but
yeah.
I'm always thinking about coaching and the kids. You're still high school kids in my mind. But to do this at your age, try to take an interest in your community and make a difference and have a platform that people can express and get to know each other and find fellowship and faith and common ground. Kudos to you. Good for you. You're the future of America, and America's looking okay in my eyes.
Well, thank God. So, do you have anything else that you'd like to say while you've got the camera on? As long as the camera's still on.
I think I've taken up enough of your time. Pretty amazing how the Home Depot Foundation is down here, taking care of our parks.
That.
If I wasn't at work,
special.
I would have gone out. And, actually, our sponsor, Tyler Buchan from William Ravis of the Golf Group, he calls me and he goes, "You should get out here and film this." I'm like, "I'm at work."
They were over by the time I got there.
Were they?
No,
Okay,
no, Tyler. We've done some business together.
Yeah.
Just all in all, appreciate what you're doing.
Absolutely.
It was nice to, hey, maybe when this podcast is done, people know me a little better.
Yeah.
They might, I don't know if they'll like me more, but they might dislike me less. That's a good start, right? But I think it's great what you're doing, and especially for us on the council level, it has value for people to know where we stand and what's really in our heart. It just helps us get things done better.
I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. Well, speaking of Tyler, sponsor. Anyway.
This episode of Good Morning Marco is brought to you by Tyler Buchan of the Golf Group. Located right here on Marco Island, they're your go-to experts for luxury living on Marco Island and beyond. Whether you're looking for a waterfront home with golf access, a condo with stunning beach views, or a private retreat down on Hideaway Beach, Tyler and his team will guide you to your home. Visit thegolfgroup.com to start your search today, or call 239-420-1099. Once again, that number is 239-420-1099. Go to thegolfgroup.com to find out more. Thank you so much to Tyler and his team for sponsoring this episode of Good Morning Marco.
And just in case, other sponsor.
Anyway, again, thank you so much for being here. If you do decide to run for re-election, we'll have you back.
Appreciate that.
And if you don't decide to, have you
I have to soul
we'll
search
have
a
an
little,
exit interview.
and Mrs. Palumbo would need to have a conversation, but let's worry about finishing strong.
Right,
I have
of
one more
course.
year to bring as much value to the community as I can, and regardless of if I did this or not again, I'm not going to shortchange the citizens on the year that I owe them.
Cool. Yeah, 100%.
So that could definitely be agreed upon.
All
And
right.
if not, maybe I'll be back.
There. Well, Jordan, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram at jgcrayley03. All of my work endeavors and all that are on there. I do a lot. You can find me at the farmers market on Wednesdays.
Oh, yeah, this is the first time that we've done a podcast since you officially are part of the farmers
Yes, I do custom painted event banners. So for whatever holiday, birthday, bachelorette thing, I can deliver it to your
Retirement
hotel.
party.
I can deliver it anywhere you want, or you can come pick out some pre-made ones at the farmers market. But yeah, that's current creations. So Ryan, where can they find you?
You can find me at www.ryanmsullivan.com. You can find all of my projects there. I'll be updating the website. I'll be updating that website as soon enough. You can find my book on there if you're interested in short horror novella about local Florida folklore, as well as you can find links to my other podcasts, any other projects that I'm working on, or you can just follow me on Instagram at Real Ryan Sullivan. That's RealRyanSullivan. And with that, again, thank you so much for
Thanks for having
coming
me.
on.
Official friend of the podcast.
Official friend of the podcast. So, thank you so much for watching. It really does mean the most, and we will see you all in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.